Oh shit, I'm back and we're live. Welcome back, guys, to the Authority on Wrestling podcast. We have in the room, as you dubbed it earlier, the Four Horsemen. Is that what you called it?
Yeah, I can call it that.
Yeah, the Four Horsemen. So we have myself, Matty Mckeegs, as always, Scumbag Mike.
Hello.
We have the COO, Rich Tobin.
Hello.
And we have It's Still Real to Me, BG.
I made it.
I want to give a special thanks to Scumbag and BG for hosting the last 2 weeks while I was away on authority business.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank Mitch from the B Plus Player Show for stepping in for the past 2 weeks. So, wow, what a week to come back! Really, come back. We got a week to go to Mania, and I only missed one Raw, but I come back and Samoa Joe is still not on the Mania card.
No.
And it doesn't appear he's going to be added anytime soon. Additionally, Sami Zayn's not on the Mania card, which is odd because he won a match that the stipulation was he could keep his job and punch his ticket to Mania.
He is in the Battle Royal.
Oh, he's in the Battle Royal.
That was for his spot in the Battle Royal.
Oh, I didn't realize he had a spot. But yes, Samoa Joe is not on the card.
Apparently they don't have news for wrestling in Germany?
Oh!
There's shitty Wi-Fi in Germany. So, Wi-Fi in Germany. So, so he's not on the card yet. I would expect he's getting involved in the Triple H match.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No question. I don't think he'd be that relatively dominant in this storyline as far as being the destroyer and then have him not make any kind of appearance.
Let's not forget, he's wearing a suit right now, too.
Yeah, he's the guy right now.
So is Kevin Owens every once in a while, and so did Neville on Raw.
Yeah, Neville wore a suit, and he looked very, very authoritative, if you will, yeah.
So we got all these suits here. So truthfully, in thinking about it and analyzing it in my head, I think this Rollins Triple H match is going to be similar to the Sting Triple H match, with like all the guest appearances and prop stuff. Only they've announced ahead of time that it's going to be like a non-sanctioned match that's occurring on an official event.
Absolutely. But, you could have a couple different people get involved. Maybe some people on behalf of Triple H, some people on behalf of Seth Rollins.
Yeah, so I just see that I've been seeing Finn Balor getting thrown on, but I don't think it makes sense for him to get involved because he was feuding with Rollins right before he left. Rollins put him out, and he's not going to come to Triple H's aid, I don't think. Not with the amount of merch he probably moves.
Do you think they would do some kind of weird double turn where they would have Balor join Triple H and then Joe help Rollins?
What I heard about Balor was that, I mean, this is just a theory, that he was going to get involved in a tag title match and help Gallows and Anderson.
I'd be alright with that.
Oh, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would, because that's technically
the original
non-sanctioned.
Yeah.
So we do have that going on, and I guess we'll see how it all plays out. They've been running that tag match with Balor. I think it's Balor, Jericho, Zayn versus Triple H, Owens, and Joe at the live events. I think they've done it at 3 or 4 live events. So just damn shame because we're not going to catch that in a couple of weeks.
We're practicing some choreography, I think, that we'll probably end up seeing at WrestleMania, whether it's part of the match or like a run-in kind of thing, for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see what happens there. I was just curious as to, Joe's still not on the card, and I can't see him not being involved in Mania in some way or another. So also in the way of Raw, we had probably the most awkward Undertaker segment of all time.
I mean, his segments of late have been terrible, but this might be the worst of it all. This might be the worst one of them all. I think you're right.
Incredibly awkward.
With his red beard and his dark black hair, he decided to go that route, and his just weak ass walk. I guess you guys were saying that there was some footage of him getting into the ring where he needed help getting into the ring and grabbing his mic and holding his coat and stuff.
Yeah, he's literally assisted at the ring. Yeah, when he came out, my brother goes, "What was it? The Tootsie Pop? Like how many licks?" He's like, "How many gongs till he gets to the ring?" So. I don't know. It was strange promo. I think the Reigns direction was kind of cool, but
In all fairness, he is the dead man, so...
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I guess we'll take it.
Oh, he's really playing the part right now, looking as shitty as
He's
possible.
a method actor.
Is he the best method actor that ever has? No wonder why he hasn't gone away. No.
It took him 20 years to get this good.
I guess it'll make people relatively happy to see Reigns win. If he does get the win, which a lot of people believe will be the result, including myself. Maybe that'll make people kind of like, all right, it's not so bad that Undertaker lost because he had to fucking go at some point, and now is his time.
Yeah, I think I'd be happy to see him go at this point.
I think he's going to win. I might be one of the only people that do.
You might be.
I do. I think Undertaker's going to win.
I don't think he has anything left to prove. I think that it's getting to the point where he just can't do it anymore.
Let's rewind.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. Mania 30.
Yeah.
Did you think he'd lose?
Against Brock Lesnar? I was one of the few people that did because it made sense because Brock Lesnar's just a beast and Undertaker's not.
Shut the fuck up.
No one knew.
Nobody thought. I thought for a split second, I said, oh, wouldn't it be funny if you lost? I said, oh, that's not going to happen.
I thought he was going to lose to CM Punk too, to be honest. I legitimately did.
The thing is just everybody thinks he's going to lose. And Sam Roberts, if you listen to his show, he constantly says, whatever you think they're going to do, especially at Mania, they're going to do the exact opposite of that.
Especially
so for that reason alone, I don't think Undertaker loses.
So it's like all the cards were predictable because word got out months and months ago that this is what we'd be seeing as far as matchups and whatnot and feuds leading into WrestleMania. But I mean, do you think because that was so obvious, they want to make all the results be a shock?
Maybe.
Because people think they know what's
to
going
me,
to happen.
the obvious route with the AJ Styles Shane McMahon match is that Shane wins because Shane's the good guy in this, and the good guy goes over. He's the boss. Like, are they going to do the twist and have AJ win? Or does everyone think AJ's going to win?
AJ's going to win, absolutely. Yeah.
Or would you call that the twist? Which one's the twist? Because
I think Shane's going to win. That's the storyline. That's where it goes. Like the good guy beats the bad guy.
Is Shane really the good guy though?
Yes.
Is he?
He got jumped by AJ in a parking lot.
In the plot,
and he's not a wrestler.
No, in the plot, AJ had that title opportunity, that rematch clause, and then they did the Elimination Chamber thing.
Yeah.
And then they made his rematch a triple threat match, and then they could have, and then they did the there was a battle royal, and then there was the match with him and Harper, and then they could have just made that a triple threat match at Mania.
Yeah.
And they didn't do it. When they make triple threat matches all the time. So as far as the storyline goes, it's a little ambiguous. Because I would think it's perfectly acceptable to think AJ got screwed.
Oh, it is perfectly acceptable to think that. And it makes sense, but I don't think at no point did Shane come out and say, we're holding you down, or any point like that. They were like, we gave you your opportunities. You just failed at them. Which is true. He did lose his matches.
No, I don't know. The way... It doesn't make sense plot-wise the way they make matches. Like, because they make triple threats out of nothing.
Yeah.
Like, out of thin air, they pull triple threats.
They pull a ladder match out of their ass after Raw ended.
Yeah, and then
that match happens tonight.
Yeah.
Like,
what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And then they come up with this big convoluted thing where, like, AJ clearly hits the ground first and all this other shit. And then it ends with... like, oh, well, you're not going to Mania. But it doesn't make sense to me. And to me, I feel like, depending on what side of the coin you land, you could definitely view Shane as the bad guy in this case.
Okay. I can see it. Yeah. I can see it. I'm not saying that's wrong. I see it. I just always thought, like, because they didn't purposely have him go out there and say, we're taking this away from you. He's not the bad guy that you normally would see. He's not like the Vince McMahon or the Stephanie McMahon. Right. He's a little bit, maybe a twist on that. So I could see.
I can't see him winning either because, I mean, AJ's eaten 3 losses to James Ellsworth, and
but those were all like gimmicked losses.
But and then he ate the loss last year to Jericho. I can't see him losing.
Well, the reason I think he's going to win 100% is because if you listen to exactly what he said was he goes, "This isn't a Hell in a Cell. You're not going to be able to jump off of anything.
Yeah,
if you leave the ring for 10 seconds, you lose. This is an actual wrestling match. There's no weapons. There's no
Yeah, that was cool. They put that in the promo.
Which is weird because then it makes this match even less intriguing to me. Because then Shane is not going to do a stunt.
But no, it makes it more because what are they going to do?
That's good. You want
Shane's going to have a good wrestling match?
How do you know he hasn't been down at the Performance Center working on things to pull out?
Look at him.
He definitely has.
Yeah.
All right.
Definitely.
I'm telling you,
There's no way he's going into Mania not being able to show some people what he thinks he's capable of as far as wrestling maneuvers and stuff goes.
I think I'm being a naysayer.
You're being a piece of shit right
No,
now.
no, because honestly, I know what you're saying because that was everyone's fear from the get-go. Was like, oh, really? He's going to face Shane? That sucks because we all know that Shane's not really on this level. I think Shane is probably so inspired by someone like AJ that he probably did put some time in at the Performance Center, and he's going to kind of pull a few tricks out of his bag, and actually make people be like, wow, he can do something. I'm not saying he's going to win, but there's no way he's going to go in there and as hack Shane, throwing those rapid fire punches. And...
He did some shitty punches 2 weeks ago.
Well, he always does shitty punches.
No, and he missed an elbow drop from the corner.
He's going to throw those, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to be a one-trick pony in the ring. Yeah. Because, like AJ said, there are rules and stipulations. It's a traditional match. I think he'll pull some tricks out.
Essentially, WWE is a magic show. They draw your attention to areas that they want you to be focusing on, and then when you're not focused on something else, that's when they pull something out of their sleeve. So the fact that they allowed AJ Styles to cut an excellent promo where he said, if you leave the ring for 10 seconds, this is over, you can't rely on your gimmicks, that tells me that they're more than prepared to address the skills gap in this match.
Yeah.
Because
Another thing about SmackDown, using the reality of what the IWC wants to talk about that for a couple of weeks. Put that right in those promos so it feels like a real burn for people onlooking what's unfolding.
Absolutely.
And they pulled off that segment great because, in my opinion, I think they it seemed like that there was real animosity between the two. And Shane feels like he's being belittled. He doesn't think AJ thinks much of him or people think of him. AJ's like, I'm going to freaking tear you a new one because this is bullshit that you had me doing this. They're playing those roles really well and it's very convincing performances.
Absolutely.
Which it has a lot to say about their acting.
Tobin, what do you think about the match?
I think it's going to be fine. I just don't... I wasn't ever really negative about it like everyone else was at first. Because, like, I was thinking about it, and all, like, the IWC... That's what we talk about, and everyone laughs about them, like bitching all the time, and they've only been around. For how many years would you think the IWC's been really
prominent? Probably at least the last 6.
The heat of CM Punk, maybe.
Because think about it, no one ever complained,
very prime,
or at least we knew oh god, they're wasting a Stone Cold match against Vince McMahon. No one complained about that.
No,
Vince,
you're right.
Like, oh my
Times
god.
have changed.
Yeah, think about
sure.
that.
What did we just watch? It was the DX in Your House pay-per-view.
Yes.
Right before we went live with this, we were watching the DX in Your House pay-per-view, and there was a segment with Goldust in Luna, as the artist formerly known as Goldust, and he came out and he read Dr. Seuss rhymes for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was...
And the crowd... And we just watched it, and I think you had left the room at that point.
Yeah.
But I turned around to Tobin, and I said, if this was now,
the crowd
would be rioting. They would be picking up their chairs and throwing them. The crowd sat there and basically patiently waited for the segment to be over. Like, they didn't know they had a voice. They had no idea how to chant, nothing.
And what are they going to do? Pass time by looking in their cellular telephone?
Yeah, they didn't have a way to hijack the show like they do now. And I don't like when fans do that. I agree.
And there's much more of a gang mentality in the wrestling business, as there is in life in general. And how open was everybody about this past election and stuff like that? And everyone picks sides and they voice their opinions with social media influencing everything, especially in regards to the wrestling community now. People really make their opinions known, and then that goes over in the gang mentality of like, hey, you're at a live event, and you're like, hey, I guarantee we're all on the same page here. We can start this chant because we talked about it. We saw it through social media or something like that, and sure enough, it catches like wildfire.
Well,
you couldn't really. They didn't have too much going on. They weren't really. There wasn't such a variety of chants and such back in the day. There would be loud chants like the what, obviously, and did they really do much of like the let's go so and so, let's go blah blah, like a sports team almost? Did they really do that?
No,
they didn't do that.
It was a roar.
Much.
It was basically like you hear them when they got loud, and
you suck or so and so sucks.
You know what happened? Sucks. It was when ECW, when they revived it in that fucking shit fest, whatever that was. It was like 2005, I think it was.
Yeah,
2006.
RVD won the title, right? Was that?
Yeah, but when they brought that back, they did the second. What was that pay-per-view? One Night Stand. They did the second
the
One Night
first one in
Stand.
2005, the second one in 2006.
But after the first one, they brought it back in 2006, and then the second one was part of the rebranding or whatever. Of ECW.
It was
right before.
Right before the second one took place like about 2 months before they started ECW.
Yeah. So anyway, they started that up, and then they started kicking out retrospective ECW DVDs. And that's when a lot of people, myself included, because I did not really watch any ECW.
You just know those crowds were random.
You went out, you got the DVDs because it was like, I've always been told this was something to watch, and now I'm at the point in my life
and
where
of course
I can
you want to see
appreciate
hardcore stuff too, the barbed wire and the fire and all that.
And you watch it, and you have that crowd going, ECW.
Iconic.
And I feel like it was around that time or slightly after that because they got the crowds chanting ECW again. That the crowds realized they had some form of a voice. And then, with internet technology coming on board with, like, more access to forums, Reddit, Dig, all that shit.
So maybe necessarily wasn't
now.
the spark, right, social media aspect, but maybe it wasn't the spark, but it was certainly the majority of the fuel to keep it burning and as bright as it is now. Because there's all kinds of saying. How innovative are some of these, like, the last one was, it was like the New Day Rocks chant, right? But they
changed it to New Day Fucks.
Yeah, and there's another one too, and I forget it, which is unfortunate.
Oh, the Austin Aries one. The A double. Is that one?
Oh yeah, so they're doing that too. That's one that
was cool.
They call him that because of Arn Anderson, right? Because Arn Anderson was double A.
He's been calling himself that for a while, but I don't. It might be.
No, but I'm guessing that's why they do the reverse because Arn Anderson was double A. Yeah. But
we want Paige.
Yeah.
They have that. But even being as innovative as to alter someone else's
chant,
particular pacing of a chant, right? 1, 2, 3, that kind of thing.
Are you getting into tempo right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to. But because that's a big deal. Because usually you get the particular styles, and New Day made a new one, a new tempo per se. Like literally, that's a thing.
The one drummer in the room.
I know.
You get the blah 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 blah. But to get that one.
Coming back to center with it though.
1, 2, 3. But all it took was a little bit of African American inspiration with the New Day.
All right, Mr. Metronome.
When they got a 1, 2, 3. Because it's more snappier.
So coming back to center though. Like Tobin said,
we went way too far. I went way too far.
Yeah, you went way too far.
But,
reel it in, buddy.
But,
the train station's like back where the gas leak is. but coming back to center with everything, like Tobin said, we accepted what we were given back in the day, and we were just happy to see these people on cards. Now these cards leak out so far in advance, and we don't have any context. And despite the fact that we're talking about it now, and they always deliver. Sam Roberts did he did a thing last year. I don't know if you remember this. This is one of my favorite things. He was talking about how every WrestleMania, he goes, WWE, it's like walking to the same restaurant, and you go, hey, I want a baked potato. And they go, we don't have baked potatoes today. You remember this?
I do.
He goes, we don't have baked potatoes.
I love this.
Here's French fries. And like, you go next week, you're like, hey, I want a baked potato. We don't have baked potatoes. We get mashed potatoes. And then every week they're giving you some variance of potato, but it's never a baked potato. Then WrestleMania comes. Baked potato day. Yeah. Baked potatoes for everybody.
Yeah, but they want,
but it's
they want
true.
Swerves this time around.
It's true. They always ultimately. I know last year wasn't great, but like. In the middle of the episode, I enjoyed the hell out of watching Mania. It was just like once it got over, it was like, okay, let's compare it to the past Manias. It wasn't that great. But during the Mania itself, it's always exciting. It's always a giant spectacle. But these cards leak out so far in advance, we have no context on these matches.
And we literally we potentially know next year's.
And we look at them, we were like, oh, fuck that. We're so quick to write it off because we don't see the story that we've. And then we're shocked when you have AJ and Shane weave an excellent story, and then on the other end of it, Miz, Cena, Nikki, and Maurice weave an excellent story. Number one, they kicked Nikki off the mic for the most part, which was probably the smartest thing they could do. Sorry, Tobin.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's got new abs. It's great.
She has an eating disorder. I think Brie has now played the part of.
All right, so in addition to the AJ and Shane match, which I thought was gonna suck, we have Cena, Miz, Nikki, Maurice, which I thought that was gonna be terrible. And those are probably, besides Owens and Jericho, those are probably the two matches I'm looking forward to.
Absolutely. It has the best build-up. A lot of story going into both those. And I didn't think going into Mania that I'd be more excited for John Cena, Miz, Maurice, and Nikki Bella nights than I was for AJ Styles nights. But they kind of really put that on the forefront. And it took this week for John Cena to get really passionate. And the promo that he cut in the ring was amazing. Yeah, it was. He really brought a lot. He tore down the Miz, and I thought it was cool. He treated him as a nothing.
He almost brought a little bit of thugonomics back too. He got really in his zone of like.
Speaking of tempo,
I'm gonna roast the shit out of you right now. I'm not laughing any longer.
Is there any chance at all that Cena and Nikki lose that match?
Yeah.
At all.
Yes.
Because you talk about how you do what they don't think. They do what you don't think they're gonna do.
Right.
Right? Yeah, I said it that right.
Yeah.
Right? That would be the one match that probably everyone could say is the easiest to predict.
Everyone is like 99.9% sure that like Cena and Nikki win this match. He does, and most likely does the proposal and all that. And for them to go the opposite direction,
I think they could do it because that's what they did with Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior when they had the retirement match. They had Macho Man lose, and then Elizabeth came out for Macho Man, and that's when they reunited and everything. That's when they had their moment.
Oh, and what do you think they do in the same fashion too?
The same fashion. Like I feel like they lose, and then they're like, "Listen, we."
I think it's ending with a proposal either way.
Oh yeah.
I think they're because they beat home the marriage thing far too much for it not to end with that. And John Cena would make his personal life a plot point,
of course,
in wrestling. But
in real life though, like how anticlimactic must that be to know, like, I'm going to propose to you on April 2nd at approximately 9 foot.
That's exactly what Miz was talking about too. Everything's like regimented and like,
it's in the contract. It's in the contract. It's in the contract that she signed. No, I bet she's creaming her pants over it.
So right after I give Miz the That's what I'm going to go over the right turnbuckle, and then I'm going to go to my knee, and you're going to. And then that's when you say, I do.
What if she says, I don't?
Then she'll just say, I'll break you, bitch!
What a twist.
But, SmackDown has really done a better job of building all their shit than Raw has. I'm not sold on Randy Orton, Bray Wyatt, and I have a bad feeling that Orton's going to get the belt again, although I know Tobin's completely jacked up about that. The prospect of Orton holding the belt, but
I have to say that.
But that segment with the steak, what the hell was that?
That turned me off last week when they did that. I said it. I was like, that was the cheesiest gimmick. They really brought in like a weird prop, and it kind of took me out of it.
Oh, I missed last week. I don't know what happened with last week because I was.
Prop was
that stupid little cross thing.
And now there's like
this is a dumb thing, and then they
it looks like it's duct taped together.
Now there's like blatant CG and like editing work that.
When the ground starts to rumble and the light comes out of
fake embers and all kind of shit. Like it's a little more. So I guess it's a different take on how they usually do things. I guess or how they've been doing it for a while. But they're kind of going really outside of the box like that. It kind of reminds me of the whole Broken theme that's going on. That kind of editing and post-production stuff. The prop threw me off a whole bunch. I got to say, I'm going to throw out a quick prediction. I'm going to say that Bray retains.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think Bray retains.
I want Bray to retain. I don't know. I feel like they're gonna pull the swerve and give it to Orton on that one. Because there's swerves and then there's always that dickhead McMahon screw job swerve. We're gonna see one of them, and I have a feeling this is gonna be the one. I don't know. That's just the vibe I get from it.
Do you think with Luke Harper being very much involved, kind of in the storyline, but no match set up, right? To my knowledge, at Mania. including the Battle Royale. I don't even believe he's entered
They
into
showed
that.
the image of all the people in the Battle Royale, and I couldn't remember if he was in it.
I don't think
I
he
don't
was.
think he's in it.
So in my opinion, that would almost guarantee him to at least make an appearance and play a role in the decision of that match.
Absolutely.
Rowan too. Rowan's out there too.
Yeah.
With his videos on.
Yeah, has he made? He hasn't come back on TV yet, though,
No,
right?
he hasn't been back
It's all
on
been like viral stuff, right?
Yeah, he can get involved somehow.
I wonder if it's Mania or like say the following Raw or something like that.
SmackDown, yeah.
Oh, he's a SmackDown aspect too.
Yeah.
So that changes everything as far as that chemistry goes.
You got a new black tank top too.
Speaking of the Battle Royale, I know it's clean. It's really nice.
Yeah.
At the same time that Bray does too, and I know that they're trying to separate those characters to make them really.
Oh yeah, you had like the samurai ponytail
Yeah.
and stuff. Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool. Actually, we're about to go into the Battle Royale.
Yeah, I was gonna say something that disappointed me about the Battle Royal is that that surprisingly American Alpha and the Usos are in that, and they're not having a tag title match.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the tag. I don't.
Weird for
I missed
Usos to
about
win
20
the
minutes
belts.
of SmackDown, but I don't think they had anything with Usos and Alpha. Did
They
talk about them?
had a 10-minute
They had a
10-man match, which we haven't seen 20 times before.
Yeah,
and,
with Rhino and Slater. And
Yeah,
Alpha and them.
I don't know. With the Battle Royal, though, before I lose thought of it, I was just thinking, let's just kind of go around and just kind of spit out who we think would be surprise entrants. I love the Battle Royal because they have gimmick surprise entrants.
Yeah, last year they had some weird people.
They had
in it.
DDP last
DDP,
year.
Shaq was in
Yeah.
it. They had, I think Duggan was in it.
So let's just
I wasn't able to watch it.
anybody like just ridiculous names that are possible.
Okay,
Possible.
oh man, first thing that came to my mind was Kurt Angle, but that's not it. Something ridiculous.
I swear to God, Kurt
Santino
Angle
Marella.
Kurt Angle to you is like what Mickey James
He's
is
not
to
signed
me.
anymore, is he?
She absolutely is. He absolutely is. Like, huh?
I thought they dropped Santino.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he can't do it because of the neck, right?
Yeah, but that's
Doesn't
not a
have neck
Royal.
issue?
He could just do
He's
it
still on the
quick.
contract though.
No, I don't think so. I think
No, he's not on
is.
contract, but he's still in good terms with them. I could see him coming back for just a Battle Royal. All you gotta do is go over the
What
top.
about Hulkamania,
No.
dudes?
No.
Oh, that would be hilarious. They would
No.
never give him away though on a pre-show match.
No.
Imagine that
Yeah.
last entrance.
I'll go with Conor McGregor.
In a Battle Royal? He's
No,
$1 million
no.
prospect.
There's one reason why I say no, and that's because they would absolutely hype him up leading into WrestleMania, so all those people would...
Not necessarily.
No,
They
because
got Rousey.
Rousey
Yeah,
was not.
that's,
And,
that's fucking Rousey.
No, she was at the height.
she was hot as hell.
Lousy
She was
Rousey.
hot as hell
Yeah.
back then. That was before she lost anything.
yeah, that was huge, and
But-
nobody knew she was even at me.
But
Yeah,
until
she
they
was
cut
just
away
in the
to her.
crowd.
The women's revolution isn't real to me, damn it.
Wow.
I'm just
Wow.
kidding. But in all seriousness, who brought in more money in the past couple matches?
Well, no, but he has. But up until that point, Connor, like Rousey, was the breadwinner. in
Yeah,
UFC.
she was top dog back then.
Yeah, so she was what Connor is now. She was that then. So I
They
don't.
didn't advertise her at all.
No,
No.
she wasn't.
Nope.
She was in the crowd, and the Rock just brought her in.
They didn't even
Right, right.
advertise The Rock being there.
Yeah.
Like that. That whole segment was to buy time because they wanted the sun to go down for Undertaker's entrance.
Mm-hmm.
But that nothing about that was advertised. They literally just had her there.
Interesting. What's Lesnar's and Connor's relationship like? Are they
I think they hug sometimes. I don't know.
Lesnar and I think they get along. Yeah,
they're in
but
terms where they get each other's brand and they'll do
Yeah.
each
Well,
other
because
big?
they would never even come. Lesnar's so much bigger than
Yeah, they
they
wouldn't
would
even,
never
like,
even.
interact.
Right,
I-
but
so-
yeah.
you gotta really Connor's demeanor and the way he goes about his business and
well,
how confident he is
no,
in his performance.
he's called
I could
Lesnar
just
out.
see two big dogs really trying to talk the most shit.
I don't think so, because here's the thing with Conor McGregor and Brock Lesnar, they're both UFC fighters, and they're both like shit talkers. But at the end of the day, all they care about, both of
Money.
them,
Yes.
is fucking money.
Fuck
Fuck
money.
money.
Yeah, they just
Fuck
they
money,
want as
baby.
much fuck money as they can possibly
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
So I like in the past, like McGregor said that he's like, oh, I could kick Brock Lesnar's ass. McGregor knows he can't kick Brock Lesnar's ass.
Right.
He's just saying because it's a ridiculous thing to say
knows
that's
how
going
to
to
play
get
the game.
headlines.
Right.
You know, it's just like when Trump says ridiculous
So
things.
that's
It makes headlines.
So,
at the end of the
do you
day.
think maybe the whole like talking shit about WWE wrestlers and so on and so forth? Not
Oh,
really
it's a
having-
total headline.
Do you think that would be almost promotion, like
Yeah.
guerrilla promotion?
Yeah,
as far as
you're going
leading
to
to him being
see.
at Mania.
You're going to see Conor McGregor eventually in WWE in some capacity. I don't know if he's going to be on the roster. I don't know if it's going to be more like a Rousey WrestleMania appearance, but you're going to see him. I don't think it's going to happen this year because there's too much going on with him trying to get this Floyd match.
I was going to say, if that's a go, if it's really a go, the Mayweather match, there's not a chance he's going to be active in any sense outside of training for this match, in my opinion.
He's having a kid in a month. I don't think he's going to be at Mania. And when he is at Mania, I do think that WWE will hype it only because Ronda Rousey was a WWE fan. I don't know how big of a fan McGregor is. Like, he does the Vince McMahon strut and stuff when he's walking down. And so he accentuates it more than Vince does. But Conor right now, like, Dana White just offered Conor $25 million. Him and Floyd each $25 million to do that boxing match. This guy only does things for huge amounts of money, and I know WWE reached out to his people, I think earlier this year, and he said the numbers weren't right.
Yeah, they were probably like, all right, so it's either a roller coaster or a Conor, and they're like,
so
a roller coaster this year.
So with the amount of money that they would dump into a Conor McGregor appearance, I can't see them, because I don't even know if Rousey was really even paid. Like, I think they were just like, come to WrestleMania, you're a wrestling fan, we'll put you in the front row.
Sure. Yeah, she's a huge fan. So.
Yeah.
I should look at how much do you think they paid Mayweather to fight the Big Show?
Yeah, throw punches.
Oh, I don't know. I'd be interested to see.
I wonder what those
It all fell out of his jacket.
he got tossed in that match, too. Big Show, threw him onto his people. Yeah, that would be interesting to look up the money situation on that.
But like that's the thing. Like McGregor is such big money that I can't see them. Yeah, I can't see them actually just giving him away not giving him away, but like putting him on without any notice because they're gonna want all the eyes that he would bring to something like that. Whereas Rousey, I don't think they realized how popular that segment was going to be. I think it was I think she was going to the event anyway, and it was a filler segment, and they were able to work the deal out with Dana White last minute, and that was it. You know, it's especially because I think they were working on the Brock deal around that time, so I think that was like a thing, like a little carrot Dana White was throwing them so they could get the Brock deal. But
what about you? Who do you think could be a surprise in the Battle Royal?
I would love to see Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
In the Battle Royal itself.
He wants to be in the ring again so bad.
Yeah, I would love to see him just come in, DDT a couple people and get thrown out. I think that would be cool. I'd love to see Scott Hall in it in some capacity. I don't want to go through DDP's laundry list. Tobin's got the numbers.
$20 million.
So Floyd Mayweather made $20 million. So Conor comes in, he's got to make at least that, and it's got to be advertised because they advertise Floyd.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's out there what Floyd made, and he's going to compare himself to Floyd. So, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely going to make it at least that.
And what about, like, a realistic, not to say that those aren't actual possibilities, but a more realistic surprise entrant that you didn't think was in the lineup, but...
Shelton Benjamin.
Okay, sure.
He's was advertised to be back. He had the shoulder surgery.
And they've said nothing about it
and then nobody's ever talked about him since. I could see that.
You think possibly Samoa Joe?
No.
Because he's not...
He's too high profile.
Yeah, if he's not going to win it, then don't put him in it.
Yeah,
if I'm not going to win it, don't put me in it.
I'm really disappointed about Strowman being in it.
Yeah.
Like after all that, this whole year, they couldn't get him.
It makes me sad. Like as weird as it is, I would have much rather seen Big Show and Strowman have another match.
Yes, that match was actually not bad.
That match was amazing for what it was.
Yeah, well, because they're trying to hype this up as like that match is within this match, which is weird. If you just make it its own match, if you're gonna do that.
They had a really good match, a singles match.
Do you think it ends up? I mean, is Zayn advertising it, or is it?
Zayn is advertising. No, Zayn won his spot in it.
Do you think there's a good possibility that it ends up being the two big guys and Zayn? And then, sure enough, he's elusive. One of the big guys eliminates the other by accident. You know, say Strowman
eliminates Big Show.
Then it's down to just Strowman and Zayn capitalizes and gets his WrestleMania moment.
That's pretty much the gimmick almost every year. The first year was Cesaro and Big Show, and then Cesaro got rid of Big Show. The second year was Damian Sandow and Big Show, and then Big Show got rid of him. Last year was
Corbin won, right?
Corbin and.
Was Big Show?
Was it? It might have been Big Show. It might have been Big Show again.
Fucking Corbin. Yeah. So do you think that's probably the most?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. It's gonna come down to Strowman and Zayn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it makes sense. It harkens back to their other feud. I see Strowman winning that whole thing, truthfully. But I don't get, to your point, I don't get why they would do this huge build on him. They got him suplexing Christmas trees.
Oh, suplexing logs, right? Is that what he's doing?
He's been even involved still somewhat in the Roman Reigns Taker match.
Yeah.
Like, there's something going on.
And then they put him in this. I don't know. It's just
maybe
it seems
they're
like
just really trying to prove that he's like a menacing bully that doesn't give a shit about whose business he's in. He wants to show that he's a tough guy. You know?
And as much as I love this battle royal, because I love it for its gimmick entrance, but that almost devalues any serious entrant you're going to put in a
Absolutely.
way. So, like, Strowman, like, it's like, yeah, he won the battle royal where they have all the goofy guys come out, you know? So, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see how it plays out.
I don't want to see Fandango squashed, you know?
You could have some rando NXT guy come up, too. Just Elias Sampson.
Didn't Nikki Bella, like, attitude adjust him or something?
Tyler Breeze. Poor Tyler Breeze, yeah.
I heard about that. I was like, what is Nikki Bella? It's those new apps. She's able to,
yeah. But
she's able to pick people up and attitude adjust them.
I'll tell you what, I want Fandango repackaged and pushed. But
you've been on a Fandango kick.
So aside from that, though,
but before who do you want to see in the
surprise entrant? I want to see someone from NXT get the call up, just like Corbin did, and maybe start a good year, like Corbin had. Maybe they don't have to go exactly the same route as Corbin had, but I guess it is a good opportunity to show that this new up and comer is a force to be reckoned with.
You know who would actually be really good as an NXT call up, because like he had a title match and lost, and then Cassius Ohno.
But Bobby Roode,
but he's in the title match, and if he wins, then you don't want to see him in a
How about the Drifter, Elias Sampson?
That was who I just said, because he's having a match against Cassius Ohno. Loser leaves NXT match.
Yeah, that would be a funny one. I love how much people hate him.
I legitimately like that dude. I think I'm the only person. Like, I legitimately think I like his look. I think his gimmick is a little cheesy, but he's good in ring. Nobody loves him. I love him.
Tobin, who do you think for surprise entrance?
Goldust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, Goldust is already in it.
Well, he is?
Him and R-Truth are in it.
Yeah, that's right too.
Really?
The Golden Truth are still they're in the image.
All right,
Goldust.
Goldust as the artist formerly known as Goldust.
Okay.
With the
All right.
So yeah, so it'll be interesting. I that one is on the pre-show, I believe.
Yep.
It's that one, the Cruiserweight and the SmackDown Women's. I believe. Mickey James relegated.
I changed my mind. I'm sorry, Matt Hardy.
I want to talk about that a little bit later.
I got a better one. Brad Maddox.
Oh, you so right. I was literally gonna say. I was waiting for a good time.
But what if he was just outside the ring, like getting like?
So here's the deal. I'm in Germany. I have extremely limited Wi-Fi, and I finally get on Wi-Fi, and all this shit starts flooding in on my Facebook about Paige, Brad Maddox, and Xavier Woods. So I get on Facebook Messenger, I text Mike, and I'm like, Mike, what's the deal here? And he's like, basically, here's the rundown of it. Then he asked me, he's like, I want to know, is this something we should address while you're away? And I said, absolutely not. It's trash.
You did.
We shouldn't talk about it because like I feel like it would negatively affect the reputation of the show. And then you know what I said? Well, actually, I didn't say anything. Tobin told me how disappointed he was that it wasn't covered, and I said, fuck it, Tobin's here. We're fucking talking about it. So here it is. Paige, Brad Maddox, Xavier Woods.
60-minute Iron Man talk right now. But yeah, no, it was something. It was
a variety. Some keywords would be camera angles.
That's the best, but I mean, I don't care what they're doing. It's just the fact that he was so concentrated, like, he was completely nude too. That was the funniest part.
Walking around with a fucking.
Yeah,
he's like in the Terminator pose when he comes out of the bubble.
Yeah, I mean, we got to put him behind a camera and on the apron of the
yeah, it'd be very cinematic. You wouldn't get that super. Would he do the zoom in, zoom out thing?
He's gonna strive for the right shot for sure.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I don't know. I wasn't able to catch the episode in full. You guys discussed it, but I think Paige's career in WWE is over. For this
We
run.
discussed that.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So everybody's in.
Sure.
I don't see.
Even if she were allowed to come back, I think
There's
she's
too much
at a mental stage
controversy.
right now where she's like, I got to depart.
When I talked about it, I said that there was a couple factors. This isn't her first issue. She's gotten stopped twice for failing the wellness policy. She's been spotted at TNA tapings, and they don't approve of that.
Here's a
And
question.
then now this is the icing on the cake.
Well, I want to go a little bit further. Do you think if there is someone that can be held accountable, right? We're talking lawsuits or some kind of liability-wise. Do you think WWE has her back and wants to help her pursue justice, so to speak? Because
probably
her privacy was invaded, and it was.
They sent
see.
Scott Hall to rehab when he wasn't even on contract. They've done that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
They
you
won't
think they're
do it
gonna
for
be there
Tammy
her?
Lynn Sitch anymore because she's done it too many
As
times.
far as mental state, they have to be there for Paige because.
Hold on. On a counterpoint, Hulk Hogan, his stuff got hacked and leaked, and they disowned him.
Yeah, but that put them standing behind him, put them in a compromising position because of the language that he used.
Yes, no, I understand that.
She was somebody that what she did hurt nobody but herself.
Okay, that's
right.
true.
Yeah,
That's a fair
so
point. That's a fair point.
it's a completely, it's kind of a different thing.
I was just trying to see a similar angle.
Yeah, no. Here's the question, and I don't know if you guys addressed this last time. They're making that movie that The Rock is producing about her life.
Right, still
going. So that's still in production right now, and they're gonna put it out when they.
The Rock. Do you think The Rock was like,
Let's
oh
make
my
this-
god, ratings for days? Like this is gonna be box office hit. Like,
I don't know. No, the three things we addressed because we didn't really talk too much about the tapes or the pictures.
And sorry for anybody this is redundant for, but my Wi-Fi was shit, so I
No,
wasn't
that's right.
listening.
The three points I hit was how would it affect the Paige movie? Would it affect Paige's career in WWE, and then would it affect Xavier Woods? Which to this point, now that we've seen a couple weeks, they're not really changing anything with him.
what about Brad Maddox?
Well,
He's gone. He's in.
Oh, he's been gone.
Yeah,
He called the audience pricks.
yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah. At a live event, how hilarious is it? He got fired for something he said at a live event.
Yeah, a house show, not even a.
Yeah.
Just because he called him pricks.
I saw him live right around that time.
Oh yeah, he was doing that. He had gray hair.
He was like
remember?
a gray hair,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
And
gray
he came out with that
beard.
creepy
we
jacket.
were there for that.
Yeah, we
in
saw that in
Providence.
Providence, I think. Yeah.
That was a weird gimmick that he had going on there.
But like,
He had no entrance music, remember?
I feel like the crowd has been called a lot worse than pricks.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They're probably just looking for any reason
Maybe,
find.
maybe they knew that he was like a cuck, and they were like, "No, this guy's gonna be a liability.
you can't
We're
have
getting
this
rid of
guy.
while we still can."
I'm not too
New Day's
sure.
running around like, "Oh, we just ran train."
I'm not too sure how cucks work, but in most cuck videos, he gets to fuck the girl a bunch and then have one scene where he just has to videotape it.
No, I'm no professional here, but
I'm not.
to
You're
my
not a
knowledge,
master cuck.
it's literally just loading out your property.
Okay.
So to speak.
you just call him women property now, man. That's
No. See, now I'm speaking in the terms of someone who would actually have what they call a loved one, and just like literally loan them out.
Okay.
Like, that's a whole different life. Like,
okay.
you view things very differently if you get to that point.
Okay.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I can't mentally put myself in that position.
Absolutely.
But part of being that is you have to stay there, right, the whole time, and you watch it.
It's
right?
very much a
Like a humiliation?
dominance property based kind of thing. Like they just want to, see, like they want someone else to drive their car so they can go, wow, that's a good car.
Yes. Yep.
That car's capable of a lot. That's sweet. Wow, I never realized my car looked that good. Or like literally, that's how they're operating. Yeah. It's something else. And,
my mind is blown that we are talking about cuck videos on our Wrestlemania.
Yeah.
You knew it was gonna happen.
This is the go home episode. Anything's
Anything can
possible.
happen.
And to think that Xavier Woods was happy to give that vehicle a test drive.
He's like,
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, dude, I want to hit like a $180. Watch this. And Brad was like, well,
We on the Autobahn!
as long as I get the perfect angle, then go for it.
Xavier Woods actually looked really uncomfortable.
Did he have his afro out or tied back in that
I think
video?
it was tied back.
Yeah, he was professional.
I haven't even seen the video.
Oh man, you're missing out.
So, yeah.
Boy.
Oh
So,
man, we gotta go
You
on
know
to
who
something
saw those
else.
videos up close and personal?
We're gonna get off of this one. So,
Wrap it up. Wrap that
so
up.
Brad Maddox was the answer, by the way.
I'm a huge production fiend, so I basically stalk any page that's gonna send out pictures of the
Talking about Paige and sending out pictures.
that's. All right, I stalk any page that's going to send out pictures of the WrestleMania stage. So this year,
Talk about segues, that's killer.
That was great.
so this year, the stage pictures leaked out, and this thing is fucking
The
massive.
ultimate thrill ride.
It's the ultimate thrill ride. They have a roller coaster. They got like drop towers, a giant fucking globe. It looks awesome. So we'll post a picture later.
Oh, absolutely. I'll put it on the Facebook.
We'll get a picture for Facebook.
There's a couple of videos too of helicopter shots.
yeah.
I'll send
There
out.
is one on our Facebook already, but it's been edited. And it had.
Did you post that one?
I did not post that.
I didn't post it.
Who posted it?
No, that was in the group text. It's on the page. I don't think.
Oh, it's on the one of those is on the
Oh.
page where it's
That
the,
one's not on the page.
the
The Eva
outline.
Marie, with SpongeBob is on our page.
Yeah, that one's on there. But in any case, we'll get this posted so anybody who hasn't seen it can see it without having to look too far for it. But we kind of just wanted to do this is our Mania episode. It's a special episode, so we wanted to just kind of do a rundown of all of our top 5 stages at Mania and just kind of talk about them. So Scumbag, if you will do us the pleasure starting off. Yeah, if you'll do the pleasure starting us off.
Absolutely. Do you want me just to read down my straight?
Oh, I posted that.
Matty Mckeegs is the one who posted an edited picture.
Such a piece of shit.
You can see it on our.
Who's the
our-
scumbag now?
All right, Scumbag.
Do you
Give
want
us
me
your
to
top
do
5 stages.
5 to 1, or do you want me to go 5 and then we go to circle?
Let's start off. Yeah. Well, why don't we do that? Why don't we start at number 5? We'll go around. We'll each give our number 5, and we'll work our way down to 1.
Absolutely, I think that's a little bit better. So my number 5 was WrestleMania 10. It was pretty simple. It was just a big X that the doors slid away, and it was one of my first ones that I really remember having a cool entranceway, and I liked that. And WrestleMania 10 is memorable for me. It's one of my favorites. Tobin?
Very interesting.
Oh.
Because I didn't pick WrestleMania 10.
Oh.
But-
so interesting. I had a different one.
But I picked the same arena 10 years later.
Oh.
WrestleMania 20.
Oh.
I really liked WrestleMania 20. It had like a big like New York City kind of like LED screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it said I watched it, and when Kane came out, I think it was like the return of the Dead Man Undertaker
Yep.
the whole city was like looked like an apocalyptic
It was, like,
like
on fire,
zombie
yeah.
era, and it was all like on fire. Looked really cool.
Absolutely cool. Brent, for you, what was your number 5 for you?
I was actually really caught in between a lot of them. Not sure which one exactly would be number 5, but I mean, 20 was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 20. All right.
So for me, I did 26, which was the pyramid.
Yeah.
So I thought that one was pretty cool. I think that's like the biggest one they've probably done to date.
It was huge. They had like a bunch of screens that were stacked up. Like,
yeah,
into
I
a
think the pyramid was the biggest one. But yeah, I really like that one. So that was always a standout. So moving on to number 4.
My number 4 was the WrestleMania 13. It was another simple one, but that one it had like a
with the purple and the coffin.
Yeah, it had like a coffin-shaped entrance with purple and black around it, and like a little flame symbol around 13 because the main event was Undertaker, so it was like a coffin.
And let's get let's get pictures.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can do like a little pic stitch of our top 5s up on there
Absolutely,
too.
of course. I'll get that all worked out. But yeah, so that and most memorable thing from that one is I really liked when Austin came out, even though it was a little bit early. They had the glass window just shatter, and it was a cool effect that they had.
Was it number 4?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with WrestleMania 17.
Okay.
I think that's when it had like it said like it was like the 2 columns. And it said X7, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I really like that, and that's just overall my I think that's my favorite WrestleMania. on itself too.
The pay-per-view.
Yeah, if I had to choose the pay-per-view itself, and it's like the stage. So.
Absolutely. Keegs for your number 4?
Yeah, so for me, 23, which was the stage for the Battle of the Billionaires. Yeah, that one was always a... I like that one. Number one of the things I really liked about that WrestleMania was they changed the logo over because they were at Ford Field, so they went with something that had the blue and silver, was similar to the Ford logo, and I just thought it was a really cool stage. You had really cool entrances too. You had the John Cena Mustang entrance,
when he came flying through the thing,
which was clear somebody else was driving it, but but yeah, that was a standout stage for me. So number 3,
yeah. So number 3, I liked the WrestleMania 20 that you mentioned earlier. It was the big cityscape. I don't know, what was that? Was that in New York?
Yeah, does it? Yeah.
So they had the New York State, the city line,
because
the buildings.
The catchphrase of that was where it all begins again. Because it was
a callback, and I really dug that. And I liked the 2 X's that they had right above with the WrestleMania sign and everything. It was just really cool, aesthetically pleasing, simple stage.
I'm going number WrestleMania 9, outside in Las Vegas.
In Caesar's Palace.
I liked it. It's very different. If you look at them all, it's very different from all of them. It was kind of smaller too. I was gonna actually look up the exact amount of people that were there, but it looked like it was like very intimate.
If I remember correctly, that wasn't an actual stadium. Like they built it specifically for WrestleMania.
I think it was in a parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is hilarious. Imagine just going to a shitty casino parking lot and going to see WrestleMania.
Absolutely.
Because I remember walking by where it was when I was in Vegas, and I was like, I can't believe there was like a WrestleMania right here. And it literally is like gates, like, and then just like it's actually really small.
And it was all like themed, like
all
like Caesar. They all were all wearing togas. It was the
they
biggest
carried in like Macho Man on a throne. I want to say like
Bobby Heenan came in backwards on a camel.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
That was what Yokozuna headlined that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Hulk Hogan won in an unscheduled match. Ridiculous.
For me, 27 was a big one. That was the one where they had like the lower ramp. They had a ramp that was on an incline that led up to the ramp on the decline. And I remember at one point, Austin came out on his ATV. And he came flying over. Do you guys remember this? He came flying over the top of the ramp.
Yeah.
And they had like that big structure above with the wraparound WrestleMania logo. And that was just a really, really cool stage. I really, really liked that one. So that was a standout for me. I can't fucking remember like any. I remember Randy Orton was in a match on that. I can't remember anything else from that pay-per-view.
It wasn't the best.
Yeah, I just remember. Was that the one The Rock hosted?
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but I just remember the stage being really cool. So.
Absolutely. And my number 2 was the WrestleMania 29. They had the big Statue of Liberty over the ring. I thought that was a really cool, just the whole setup.
Best part about that was, you remember the McMahon reveal video for that?
Yes!
The Statue of Liberty!
He loved it. He was so proud of it.
Yeah. How do you like them apples?
No, he loved it. It was great. I just liked the whole setup. The stage was really big. It had like a big, huge, like, I think there was like 3 giant screens in the front. It was just really nice.
I thought it was, and I talked to my buddy, who actually might be on the show next week if everything aligns, but he went to that WrestleMania, and I was talking to him about how I could see how it was a really cool stage in person, but I just thought it was, number 1, too big, which we might have the problem with this stage. And number 2, it was more of like an in-person stage. Like it did not photograph well on camera at all. Like because you could only catch segments of it on. It was just an odd-looking stage on camera, but it definitely a cool stage.
Absolutely. Toby, number 2.
Oh, I picked 30. Let's make it 30. I loved the giant 3 X's, and I loved the coloring was all purple and gold because they're in. Obviously, that's the color of Mardi Gras in New Orleans. I just thought it was awesome.
No, absolutely, I agree. That was a great one.
It was my number 2 too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
really?
30 was great. And the cool thing was like the X's were video screens themselves and stuff.
Everyone's videos were on the X's at the.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 30 I thought was awesome.
Going in order, then I guess we're going to continue. 30 was my number one. I liked 30 the best. I thought it was great.
I mean, the symmetry of just the
three X's, and
you
they had
can't go wrong.
what's that symbol? It's like
That's
the
probably
It's like the New Orleans Saint.
the New Orleans. What's that called? It's like a French
the fleur-de-lis?
Yeah, the fleur
Yeah.
They had that behind the three X's. The colors were great. Just a nice big open stage. That was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I was a big fan of that
That's
one.
probably the favorite from Brad Maddox as well. Probably.
Especially at the end. Especially at the end. Speaking of Brad Maddox and angles, they had at the end they got that angle with Daniel Bryan on top of the announce table with the thing behind him, and it looked great. I don't even know if he knew to get up on it just looked great.
Absolutely.
Like that, and I think they still use that in the intro packages and stuff. That was just a really, really cool stage.
Just an honorable mention for me was 31 with the big play button and WrestleMania.
You like 31?
I did like 31.
I thought
it didn't make my top 5, but it was an honorable mention.
31 seemed to me like a refined version. It was the one. I think it was the one for the first Rock and Cena. It was similar to it. It had the WrestleMania across the top.
Yeah.
But what annoyed me about that one was because of the space where the thing was, the word was offset. You remember,
Yes.
Mania was further back and it just didn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
And that one always pissed me off. So 31 was too similar to that for me. But
Yeah, I liked 31. I just thought it was nice. I liked the imagery, talking about the Daniel Bryan thing, of Seth Rollins on the ramp with the symbol behind him when he was swinging the belt.
Yeah, it was cool.
That one just, it's a personal thing, but that's why honorable mention. But yes.
No, number one was already said. It was 27.
Oh, yeah?
I knew that was going to be Tobin's number one, too. Sorry, I didn't mean to kill that one.
What I loved about it was,
really is too.
as much as everyone hated The Miz being the main event, he actually had a really, really good video package right before it. And then it cued into the stage where it was the giant WrestleMania, and then he had giant balloons that said "awesome" across it, and he blasted.
I remember he came through the middle of them.
He blasted through the awesome. It was actually cool.
I forgot about that.
How pissed
awesome.
do you think people were at WrestleMania 28 that were right behind the pillar?
Oh, that was people.
They had a pretty good chance of being behind the pillar.
Absolutely, it was.
Which pillar are you talking
The
about?
palm trees, right?
They had the big
trees,
palm tree pillars that were kind of angled down like that.
Yeah, but they have those everyone. They just stood out more because of because they were designed to look at palm trees. But they always have something holding up the structure. With Dallas being the exception.
That's true, but I heard that a lot of people complained that they couldn't see the ring when they were in certain seats.
Those are large scale too. Those
they were
some
bigger scale.
Yeah, for me, my number one was actually 24, which was it was I think it was in Miami, but it was like an Art Deco looking. It was almost like a building, stacked up. Yeah. I'm a big fan. That one was in Miami, right? I'm not positive. It fit in locally with the design of Miami being that Art Deco thing. And I'm a big fan of Art Deco design. And I just thought it was a really, really cool looking stage.
They had really good pyro for that one.
Or was it 26?
Yeah.
Was it 26?
No, I believe it was 24.
No, I think they came back, but 24 definitely was the Art Deco design one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a huge fan of that one. So that was my number one. I was between that and 30, but the design on that one.
26 was the pyramid one, right?
Yeah, 26 was the pyramid. That was my number 5.
Yeah.
That one was quite the structure.
So we touched upon it earlier, but let's get back to it. I think one of the, for me personally, I think one of the sleeper matches of the card. I shouldn't say sleeper match, but I think people are completely, underestimating what it's going to be. Is the tag team ladder match, because now that the ladder stipulation's been added to it, I am really intrigued to see what they pull off. I think Cass and Enzo are going to be the weakest team there, but I think between Gallows and Anderson and Sheamus and Cesaro, the combination there is going to be interesting to say the least.
It's definitely interesting to see a ladder match that doesn't really involve too many high flyers, because all those guys are just big brute dudes pretty much. You got Sheamus and Cesaro, Gallows and Anderson, and then Cass are all brute dudes. And Enzo's not known for his flying. I mean, he gets tossed around by Cass, but not.
Yeah, I'm expecting him to take some tumble outside the ring and lay there for 20 minutes anyway.
I think this will be more in the vein...
Or throw himself outside the ring.
Absolutely. I think this will be more in the vein of the Shawn Michaels Razor Ramon, where they just utilize the ladders in an interesting way instead of jumping off them in the high spots and everything.
Sheamus not so good with ladders, apparently, huh?
No, you gotta get busted, yeah.
And Enzo, I'm surprised they're putting Enzo in this match with his known injuries that he just randomly gets.
Yeah. Now, make things more interesting. the Hardy Boys are obviously defending the tag team championships for Ring of Honor with a Friday, right?
Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Saturday. Okay, so Saturday night they're
It's
defending
right
that.
before the NXT special.
Now, from everything that's been that I've been reading, their contracts are basically up. They were extremely short-term contracts, and so I'm guessing the expectation is they're going to lose to the Young Bucks on Saturday. Now, in addition to that, there's some type of legal litigation with TNA over who owns the rights to the Broken gimmick. On top of all this, WWE has been posting Hardy's retrospective videos, which they did around the time Goldberg came back. They did around the time Sting came back. And more interestingly, they keep highlighting the word broken in them. In all caps.
Like broken tables, yeah.
You know, like,
they're
everywhere the
acknowledging
Hardys go, you can sure expect broken tables and brokens in all caps.
I didn't even catch that.
Yep.
So, and I've had a few discussions with a colleague of mine at work regarding the Hardys' return, and I truly believe you cannot bring the Hardys back under their old gimmicks because, number one, the broken gimmick's too
not
popular
anymore.
and successful.
Way too old.
But number two, the old Hardy gimmicks, they're dated. They're like... They applied when everybody was wearing ball chains in the late 90s. It doesn't...
Mm-hmm.
Someone listen.
Yeah.
Everybody listen.
Yeah.
What the hell's a ball chain?
Well, you know, like they look like the ball chains with their
Oh,
big...
okay.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the necklace things. Okay.
That and like Genko jeans.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
big jean,
fucking-
wide leg jeans.
Yeah,
with the-
like you know, Lita's wearing her thong outside her pants.
Oh, I did that. I had my thong.
Yeah. so I can't see it, but like, what are the odds that we actually see them in some capacity within this Mania match? Especially since if there's any legal thing, WWE can fucking pay out TNA anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. But,
TNA has no money.
but what are the odds at this point?
My odds of them getting involved in the match, but if you would have asked me a couple days ago, I would have said not very likely at all. I would have said they would have showed up at Raw the next night or SmackDown after that. But I definitely think the fact that they're introducing the ladders super last minute, like that was announced after Raw.
Yeah.
And normally they always have a ladder match like hyped up before then. And so if anything, I mean, I'd say probably about 75% chance.
And the ladder match, obviously,
Favors
that's
the
there.
Hardys.
That's there. So what do you think of it?
That'd be a good point.
You think it's a stretch?
I want it bad, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Are you a fan of the Broken Hardys?
Oh yeah, but I do think maybe the next night
Okay.
because it'd be kind of a stretch for them to wrestle Saturday,
And would they
come
do-
right in Sunday,
For sure. Yeah.
immediately do a lot.
That'd be some Rick Rude type
That's
shit.
some
To be fair-
wild double duty right there.
To be fair, the match that they're having is a ladder match on Saturday night,
Yeah, so like,
but they're only an hour away from Orlando, or from where the campsite arena or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'd just be interested in seeing. I think, you know, they talk about Mania moments. I think that would be like the standout if they were to do that. So
all they would have to do is not even get involved in the match. They could, whoever wins the match, they could just attack them after, and the crowd would go nuts with the delete chants. And I mean, because you have the a worldwide audience there, like that's very people from all over. So people are going to know who the Hardys are, the new Hardys, not necessarily the old WWE.
oh yeah, it'd be huge. I'm hoping. I think that match, regardless of whether or not they're involved, I think it's going to be an incredible match. It's one of the matches I'm really looking forward to.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, we structured the show today. We wanted to do a limited amount of topics because what we really wanted to do was we've beaten to death all these feuds for weeks now leading into Mania. We're not going to talk about Goldberg Lesnar. We're not. I mean, Owens Jericho. We're all excited for it. We've talked about it enough. We're not going to talk about it. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to do the top 5 on the stages. And then we also kind of just wanted to dive in, have a little freeform conversation on our top 5 Mania matches. And truthfully, I think we should probably go about this the same way that we went about the entrances. Yeah, so we'll start at 5, we'll work our way around, and we will do, we'll get them all one by one and discuss each one briefly. So
Absolutely. Is everybody ready with their...
Yeah, I think we're good to go.
Well, you guys are.
Yeah, so Brent's listless if you haven't figured out by
Do you have an idea of like any matches you want to mention? You don't have to be in an order.
You know, it would kill me to leave some crucial ones out that I'm like, I didn't even think of that, or
Okay, so
even
maybe
put some lackluster one.
absolutely. So maybe if after we're done, if you want to throw in any.
So,
All right,
Mike,
so
let's start off with your number 5.
My number 5 was from WrestleMania. I believe it was 20. With I think it was the main event. It was Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Chris Benoit a triple threat match, and it was Benoit's showcase. I know that he's been blacklisted and they don't really talk about him much, but
well, he did murder his family.
Yeah, no, I mean it happens, but I think that it's a tragedy that they can't really talk about that match because it was incredible. You don't get to see Triple H in a match too often at that point in his career where he was doing a lot of like technical stuff and he was more of a brawler at that point, and I really like that. I got a chance to showcase that, and Shawn Michaels is great in every match he's in, but at the time I was a huge fan of Benoit and I really liked that he got his moment in the sun. So that was my number 5 pick. And Tobin?
My number 5 was Macho Man versus Ric Flair from WrestleMania 8. Just because it was so damn personal.
Yeah.
Like he planned, when Flair said when he won he was going to reveal a banner-sized photo showing the real Miss Elizabeth. Yeah. And I wanted to see that banner so bad.
He had photos of her by the pool, he said.
Oh yeah, she's like feeding him strawberries and stuff.
I believe you can see those photos. They were in WWF.
By the way, when I met Ric Flair, and he's got all his photos out, and you can choose one. He had, I think, 1 or 2 of the photos of Miss Elizabeth, and I thought about getting it, but I just went for the black and white one. But yeah,
that's a super underrated match. Nobody really talks about that.
I think they both were like busted open. They both were bleeding heavy.
It was like 30 minutes long. It was a great classic match, and nobody really talks about that.
And the finish. You know what the finish was?
Macho Man, right?
Macho Man rolled him up and used the tights. Actually, a heel move as a good guy.
Scumbag Macho Man.
Big heel move.
What about you, Mr. McKeegs?
So for me, it would have to be WrestleMania 22, Foley versus Edge in a hardcore match. And I was a big Mick Foley fan during the Attitude Era. And then, he kind of went away for a little bit. And then he came back around this point in time. And I remember the match was announced. I didn't think anything. Like I was like, I want it to be good, but it probably won't be. And then they did it, and it was awesome. It was like a throwback Foley match from start to finish, and just a huge standout for me.
And they had the huge spot with the flaming table, which was
table, which was awesome.
Which Edge probably got the worst of because he had no shirt and went face first into it.
Well,
with the spear.
Yeah, because his head kind of went into it too.
Yeah, because he did a spear into it, and he went face first.
But yeah, that was a great match, and they had tacks in that match. They had barbed wire, fire. It was a classic Foley match.
That was like it was either between that or the triple threat that I mentioned for my number 5. That was like one of my honorable mentions right there.
Yeah.
So my number 4 was from WrestleMania 19. It was Angle versus Lesnar. I think that Angle and Lesnar was one of my favorite feuds at the time. That's when I started really getting into the technical aspect of wrestling as opposed to the characters and stuff. And Angle really, he's my favorite. I'm very outspoken on that, and that was one of my favorite matches of him. And I love that feud that he had with Lesnar. And that's the one where Lesnar tried to do the shooting star press and hurt his neck, which was a mess. But that's my number 4.
Yeah, that was.
My number 4 is I have a theme to all my matches. They're all very personal. For some reason, I like those.
No, that's good. That's good.
And it's Undertaker versus Kane, WrestleMania 14, because it was literally almost over a year build up to that match. Like you didn't know. He kept talking about Kane, and then he was telling the story about how he killed his family, and then for months, Bear was like, "Kane's alive." Then it's Kane's coming, and then Kane did come. And then Undertaker refused to fight him for 5 months. He wouldn't, and then eventually it was
an amazing build-up.
I put that as my. I know you have a different one, but I put that as my best, my favorite Undertaker match at a WrestleMania.
That's why though, that match and the history between those characters. That's almost why I can't see Reigns putting Taker out, because the next time Taker loses at Mania, he's done.
Yeah,
I think we all agree with that. And given the history of the characters, I can see Kane being the one to give him that loss.
I've always thought that it would be interesting. I've been saying this for probably 10 years now, that if Undertaker ever was to have his last match, have him and Kane do like a buried alive match and bury both of them, and then don't ever talk about them again. Put them in the Hall of Fame, but don't talk about those characters.
So, that's one of those things that there's just such a rich history there that I can't see them blowing that on Roman Reigns, but who knows? They've blown a lot on Roman Reigns. So, so for my number 4, it was actually Lesnar Angle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And that was like you was at a time where I was appreciating technical wrestling more. But the quick transitions in that match and everything, just a great match. I still, it's one of the few matches I don't go back and rewatch a lot, unfortunately. Speaking of which, I do, once we get off this top 5 list, I'm going to come back to this, but it was an article I posted on the Facebook page, but we'll come back to that one. But, yeah, so I don't go back and watch many matches, but I go back and I've watched that one probably like 5 or 6 times since initially viewing it. So
Absolutely. I think it's a shame that Brock Lesnar doesn't wrestle like he used to. He was... People forget that he was so good.
It's 1 year apart, right, from the that Kurt Angle Lesnar match at Mania to the Mania with him and Goldberg.
Yeah.
And those are 2 complete different styled matches.
Well, I mean, Goldberg's a different style opponent, and Lesnar at that point didn't care because he was done.
He was on his way out, and Goldberg only had like 7-8 moves at his peak offensively.
But what was Lesnar's following Mania match? Do you recall?
He was not around until
that was it. That was it for like 8 years.
And so when he returns, he kind of still pulls that like.
Well, when he came back, all they wanted him to do was be like an MMA style brawler.
Yeah, right.
So that's where it changed because he's still capable of doing all that shit. I'm willing to bet. The problem is like they want him to be like a giant beast, which he was a beast before, but they really want him to be.
He's like built differently, so.
Yeah, they want him to like suplex people and just basically manhandle them the entire time. So that's why he wrestles in the way that he does. Yeah, so so that was my number 4, right?
So that was your number 4, yeah.
So we're on number 3.
Yeah.
So
my number 3 was, as you can tell, I'm a huge Angle fan. My number 3 was Angles vs. Shawn Michaels from WrestleMania 21.
That was a good one. I forgot about that one.
That was so good. Like that, I believe Shawn Michaels says that is his favorite WrestleMania match, and I believe that Angle says it's his favorite Mania match. And those guys tore down the house. They had a really good feud going into that, and even after that, I think they had an Iron Man match on Raw. Like they had some great matches, but that was one of my favorites. It was Shawn Michaels was bleeding like crazy, which always, in my opinion, adds to a match.
That's it. He was in the ankle lock for like forever, right?
Yeah, he was in the ankle lock forever. Angle's not to get off my Angle horse right now, but like he's one of the few people that has made Austin, Taker, Shawn Michaels, everyone taps to Angle, like, and I think that's a sign of respect to him, and that's why he was on my list a couple times. But yeah, so the Angle Michaels match from WrestleMania 21, which was incredible. Tobin?
So just to talk about that for 1 second, I was thinking about this the other day when I was like, about what everyone complains about. They use the term bury, like, oh, this person was buried, this person's buried. Oh, look, he lost, he got buried.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when people do that.
Do you know who holds the most losses at WrestleMania?
I'm pretty sure. Do you want me to guess? Like
Triple H?
I'm pretty sure it's Triple H.
No. Well, he's up there. He's second.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels is 6 wins, 11 losses at WrestleMania.
Wow.
Mr. WrestleMania.
And he's considered one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And he has lost more than anyone else at WrestleMania.
It almost doesn't matter at the end of the day because there was an interview with
That's
Kevin.
not to be said, though. I mean, you can take that many losses and still be known as, like, Mr. WrestleMania. That means you are putting on A matches every single time. And, I mean, talk about being a seller.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really big deal.
There was an interview. It was one of the Jericho podcasts Owens did. And he was talking about how, like, a great match doesn't matter who won or lost.
Yep.
It's all about moments that occur in that match.
Yeah.
And Shawn Michaels is like the ultimate moment maker.
Absolutely.
And people remember specific moments in the matches. They don't really remember, the outcome or like how it began or like who locked up when. So that speaks for itself. I mean, win-loss records don't matter. I think in the case of somebody like Bray Wyatt, who was eating so many losses for so long,
It hurts.
they do. But if he gets a solid enough run, we'll eventually forget about those.
Absolutely.
Well, because if you look, then it was like, but Shawn Michaels' record at every other event, like SummerSlam, is like...
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. He wins at basically every other event except for WrestleMania.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken,
Shawn Michaels wins
Triple
it.
H has the most losses on all pay-per-views.
Oh yeah,
I think, and people hated that everyone's like, oh, Triple H buries everyone. He has the most losses at any pay-per-view.
Didn't lose to Sting.
No, yeah, for real. What a shit show.
That was the funniest swerve of all time.
Absolutely. So what's your number 3, Keith?
Well, I went to 3s. I went.
I'm sorry.
No. It's I did Austin Rock WrestleMania 17
Oof, that's a great one.
because it was great, and then Austin couldn't beat him, and he had to.
That was a heel turn,
He had
right?
to join
Yeah.
Vince McMahon to beat him.
He
Vince
enlisted the help of Vince in a chair.
He bought in. That was a buy-in. That was a.
A huge buy-in.
That was a legit buy.
That was a stacked WrestleMania. If you think about
I'm
the
shocked.
cards.
17. That's a.
Literally,
It's been known as the best
The best.
WrestleMania.
Yeah,
like,
seriously.
I'm
that
shocked
was
you
incredible.
didn't put Vince Shane.
That's
You bitch. Yeah.
Oh, but there's one WrestleMania. I said I've only not seen 2 WrestleManias.
Yeah.
Because you brought up Jericho. One match I have to see is I've never seen WrestleMania 19. Someone
Jericho
told me
Michaels?
apparently Jericho Shawn Michaels is a ridiculous match.
Oh, amazing.
Like
Incredible match. Yeah.
Yeah. So for my number 3, this
You,
one
you
is strong.
didn't see the Hogan McMahon street fight? Oh my god, I want to watch that tonight. I got work in the morning and I'm not getting any sleep.
Surprisingly, wasn't terrible.
whose match is that?
So what's your number 3?
Well, this one gets thrown around a lot, but
Street fight.
HBK Taker Mania 25. I unfortunately did not get to watch this Mania live at the time, but so I could only imagine what it was like watching it live because it probably. So I already knew the result going into it, but even watching it on replay, that match it really is near perfect.
Yeah, people say that that's like the best match in WWE history. People like rave about that match since it's been hands down.
As far as the consensus goes, it might be. Obviously, it wasn't my number 1, but like, yeah, that match is like, and that's why when what was it,
Omega.
Okada and Kenny Omega, and everyone's like, oh, this is the greatest match. I watched it and I was like, that didn't touch Taker HBK in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
So but anyway, so that's my number 3.
No, absolutely. I mean, and like we didn't really say this going into it, but these are just our opinions, and they're not like the best matches of all time for everyone. It's just our how they touched us
personally, how they made us feel.
Yeah,
so.
how they absolutely made us feel. That being said, my number 2 was the WrestleMania 13, the Bret Hart Stone Cold match where they do the double turn, and that was probably one of my most iconic matches as a child. Like when I was a kid, that was incredible. I don't think there was a match that could touch that one for a long time for me, because I wasn't a huge fan of the Iron Man match that Shawn and Bret had, but so at that point I didn't think I really was a fan of Bret Hart. But after seeing his match with Austin, it turned me. I thought it was an incredible match, and they did a lot of amazing storytelling in that match, and that's what a key in a lot of my matches is storytelling. I'm a huge fan for that. I'm very emotion based when I watch wrestling.
He cried.
Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, high spots always excite me, but I'd rather have a great story in a match than a bunch of high spots. So that was my number 2.
Oh, it's gonna be really quick. I have the same exact.
Oh, awesome! Absolutely.
And basically for all the same reasons.
A little side note, I find it funny how Triple H always finds a way to like go against somebody that like he had either he partnered up with or like had under his wing kind of thing. Like, I mean, he's had one.
Triple H Batista, Triple H Randy Orton,
Shawn Michaels, yeah, and like he's gonna do Rollins this time around. Like, yeah. He really.
He really is a creator and destroyer.
Yeah, for sure.
For me, I'm actually gonna after I'm gonna add 2 on number 2.
Okay, yeah.
Because there was one I just overlooked. So I had originally had Batista Taker Mania 23.
Batista's made it.
Which
Tobin is so happy that Batista made someone's list.
I just remember watching that match and the near falls and everything because I hated Batista at the time, and they did such a good job of making everybody believe that like he had a chance, to actually. I feel like it was one of the first it was one of the ones like right when the streak started, like. Where they were doing a lot of near falls because the Undertaker matches before then, sometimes they could be one-sided.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the Randy Orton one was the one they started really focusing.
Was that the one
on
before?
It was right before Batista. He hit an RKO from a choke slam. It was like the first ever reversal.
Yeah, the choke slam.
And I thought that was it.
Yeah, no, you're right.
That's when he had his Legend Killer shirt at the arcade, the NWO one. So I put that one, but I'm also going to rank right at number 2, Owen versus Brett, WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
I'll leave it alone. I'm not going to talk about it. But yeah, I'm going to put that one at number 2 as well. Mike, you're number 1, please.
So my number
that
one
one is incredible. Underrated.
If I'm allowed to do a cop-out, I'll do this. If not, I will pick one match. But my I couldn't decide. I really like all of these almost equally. But the Triple H Undertaker trilogy from WrestleMania 17, WrestleMania 27, and WrestleMania 28. I know that the first one they didn't even really address when he went into the last two, but that match was on par with all of them. That was just like a match where the ref was out for 8 minutes in that match in WrestleMania 17, and they went and fought in the crowd and everything.
Oh, yeah, that's when he threw him off like the scaffold.
Yeah, he threw him off the
They were all
scaffold.
bleeding everywhere.
That was another one from 17. 17 was a stacked card, but
That was the American Bad. No, was that?
it was.
It was the Big Evil Taker.
No, it was badass at that point. Shortly after that.
Big Evil.
Big Red. He'll make you famous. But yeah, so and then they had the WrestleMania 27 match, which was told a really, once again, like I'm a huge fan of stories where Triple H just beat down Undertaker so much, and then Undertaker locked into Hell's Gates, and Triple H was struggling to reach the sledgehammer, and then it was just out of reach, and he couldn't grab it. And then at the end of that, Triple H walked out of the ring, and Undertaker couldn't walk. They also did a really cool, the setup to that was one of my favorite setups ever, where it was a surprise return. They didn't know who it was going to be, and Undertaker came out. And then right after he hit the apron, Triple H's music hit. And he came out, and no words were exchanged. They just stare down and look at the Mania match. But if I only had to pick one out of them, it would be the last one, which was the 28, the Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as the referee. It's probably the best story in a match I've
It's a
ever
terrible
seen.
Hell in a Cell match.
It is a bad Hell in a Cell match.
They don't use the cell.
But it's the
They
best
use a bunch of
story.
stairs.
He took a Sweet Chin Music directly into a pedigree and somehow kicked out. When the guy who gave the finisher is the referee.
It's still real at that point. All right, he's the dead man. He's the phenom. Let him spit on my dreams right now. What's your shitty number one?
Oh, the best part is they all stand up there at the end.
Dude,
he
and-
just screwed you.
And Taker's back was demolished by those chairs. Like when he took his shirt down, it was just he had wells all over him. But it was a great match, and I choked up during it. Fuck
Debatable.
You. All right.
But my number one is Brett and Owen.
Yeah.
Same thing, and I couldn't believe. I remember when I watched that match, I didn't really realize how good of a wrestling match it was. 'Cause I was a kid when I first saw it. But if you watch that match now,
I did.
it's probably one of the best wrestling matches.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite Mania.
Yeah, they're constantly
it's-
going back and forth, a ton of reversals, but like in a tasteful manner. Like it's just it's really them putting on a clinic of like what the Hart family can do, and they were just going back and forth.
And I think the finish was great. And I don't think anyone ever expected
And I don't
Owen
think
Hart
people
was going to
even
win that match.
I don't even think people remember Owen Hart won that match.
Right.
Yep.
No, because Brett went on and he faced Yokozuna
Yokozuna,
later that night. Yeah. I think that's my favorite Mania because you got Macho. He's tying the guy up.
Crush upside down.
You had Luger and Yokozuna with the Mr. Perfect as the referee.
Yep.
And then you had the Razor Ramon, Shawn
Shawn
Michaels
Michaels.
Ladder match.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
that
good.
one was excellent.
Absolutely. So what is your number one, Mr. McKee?
So for me, Macho Man is my favorite wrestler of all time, and so I had to do Macho Steamboat at Mania 3.
Yeah.
It's a great match. It's not the best match of all time. I think that match though opened the door for the type of Mania matches that we have now.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have Mania matches like we do now with near falls and all that shit if it wasn't for that match kicking the door in on it. And not only that, like everybody, I don't know if everybody forgets, but I think a lot of people forget that was an IC belt match,
Yeah.
which was awesome. Like
Yeah.
you don't see IC belt matches like that anymore. So for me, that has to take the cake.
They didn't even do a build-up to the IC belt match for this WrestleMania on SmackDown. They didn't even talk about
No,
Ambrose
it's just
and-
they basically booked it, and that's
Yeah.
it. Which I know pisses Tobin off. I mean, it pisses all of us off. But
Yeah, absolutely.
like Ambrose is just like, here's the belt, okay, and it's just like his U.S. title run when he just had it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the IC. When I'm growing up, that was my favorite title.
You had Bret Hart, you had Shawn Michaels, Roddy Piper, Mr. Perfect.
Speaking of, we said how that was the IC title match. On one of my favorite matches, which isn't WrestleMania, but the SummerSlam, was Bret Hart British Bulldog for the IC title, and that was the main event. That went on after the the WWE title match. They had that was the main event, was the IC title.
Absolutely.
Hey, I want to throw in I guess an honorable mention. No, it's not your traditional wrestling match, but it's something it was one that has been talked about since its occurrence. It was incredible, and it should be mentioned, and that's the WrestleMania 17 Hardys, Dudleys.
That was that WrestleMania too? You could probably just watch that whole WrestleMania without skipping a match.
It was phenomenal, and that was the iconic spear right off of the ladder onto a hanging from the belt Jeff Hardy, which there was no room for error, and they pulled it off.
It's gonna be like a 12-foot drop.
I don't know how they did that, but they did it, and it was. I think that was one of maybe the biggest moments that's worthy of an holy shit, like that.
But they didn't know how to chant back then. So briefly before we wrap everything up. Oh, you had one more?
No, I didn't want. I just want to say, make sure we'll put up a link or something.
No.
We want to talk. We want you guys to.
Oh yeah.
Give us your top fives too.
I thought you were going to a wrap up there.
No.
I was about to smack you across the face.
No. Let us know what your top 5 matches are. We want to hear back from you guys. Give us some feedback. Let us know if you think our ideas were shit, our matches were terrible or gimmicky, or what are your top 5 matches? We just want to hear that from you too.
Well, I already gave you mine.
Not you.
You pointed at me.
Well, I was pointing at the microphone. They can't see that.
All right, so the last thing I wanted to talk about, I posted an article on the Facebook page earlier this week. Alfred Kanoa, I always pronounce his name wrong. He writes for Forbes. He writes wrestling articles. Some of his stuff is really on point. Other stuff I don't always agree with, but he's a pretty well articulated writer. He put up an article about how WWE was trying to acquire, I think it was Ring of Honor's library. I believe, it's Ring of Honor's. And he was like, well, what's the value in that? Because people aren't viewing these things. And I feel as though there's immense value in that because, number one, it's a huge selling point for the network. So the problem is with Netflix, WWE Network, Amazon Prime, whatever, is there's no inconvenience to it, and there's such an abundance of choice that when you give people this much choice, they're never going to choose anything. So with network, there's so much content on it, you can go through there all day and be like, I don't know what to watch. There's just too much stuff. I don't know what to decide on. Whereas, back in the day, back when Blockbuster existed, you had to either drive there yourself or have your parents take you there. They had a limited selection what you could choose. They might have had 4 or 5 pay-per-views, like Judgment Day '96, DX in Your House. The Rock Bottom pay-per-view, if you were lucky.
The best of WrestleMania matches.
The UK Invasion. UK Invasion taper. So you put your hands on whatever you could get and watch it. But now I feel like with video libraries, not only is it a selling point for the network, but now they can go back, they can make retrospective packages for, your Daniel Bryans, if you wanted to, your AJ Styles, your Samoa Joes, especially now because they're hinging on all this past experience. So I just wanted to open it up because I thought it was an interesting article I posted on there, so if anybody wants to read it, it's available. But I wanted to open it up in this room to discussion and see what you guys thought about, should WWE still acquire these video libraries, even though statistically not a lot of people are viewing them. If they are, they're not viewing them in full typically.
I think that it goes further than the network for WWE. I think they want to own libraries from companies because if you hold the information, if you hold the videos and everything, you write the history. They want to own the history of wrestling. I think that no matter what company it is, even if it's the smallest company, if 1 or 2 wrestlers came from there, you can show where they came from. You can write their stories. You can tell their stories.
Right now, yes.
You can tell their stories the way you want to tell it. So in the history of books, it will be like WWE. These people came up the way WWE wants to make them, and that's one of the things that they really like to have control over is that being able to say, like, yes, they started here, but it was pivotal, and now this is what we've created with it. And I think that's what they can really do with the libraries. It might not add much to the view. Like, nobody's going to go through and watch all of Ring of Honor from 2001 to, like, because the production quality was poor.
But
and
it's
everything.
there if you want it to be
It
there,
is.
which is like, so the value's built in. But
I think the value is more than, like I said, that I think the value is in them being able to write history.
Well, the thing is the most valuable thing that any of these companies have is their video library.
Yeah.
It is, because WWE can take that, they can spin that footage any which way they want, and right now, WWE pumps out an absurd amount of content. I would venture to say, more so than like any like sports channel or like baseball like service, like baseball as the streaming thing. I think WWE probably pumps out more hours of content a week across all their platforms, because they're constantly throwing out like little videos on social media. They're putting together like move compilation videos for Instagram. Then they're doing shit for the network constantly. They pump out so much content, it's ridiculous. And eventually it's all going to become regurgitated. So to get other stuff, especially with veteran talent coming in like Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn, I think it's extremely smart on their part.
Do they own TNA? The TNA library?
No.
I thought they bought that.
That was rumored for a while.
They were
but,
trying to.
It's only a matter of time.
Anthem, which is was Fight Network at one point, they ended up buying out TNA and they own everything now.
WWE's going to get it eventually.
Oh,
It's a
eventually.
matter of when, not if.
People talk a lot about WWE buying out their competition and like burying them, and that's not what they do at all. Like WWE, for the most part, maybe in the territory days it was different, but now they bought ECW when it was done, when it there was nothing left they could do. They even fed money into ECW. WCW, the same thing. Like AOL was selling,
basically dead.
They
when
were
bought
dead.
It,
They waited until it was dead. It's not like they bought it out and then crushed it, because they need competition to survive. So I don't think that's what
Well, they wanted with WCW. They wanted to keep it on the air.
I know.
The problem was Turner was not willing to sell the TV spot. They were like, no, we're taking this off the air. It was worth nothing with that.
People hate on Vince for that, but it's not. He did the best thing he could. He took in what he could, and now WCW can live on the network.
Actually,
It was best for business.
They wanted to keep it like completely separate.
Yeah,
right?
and
Like,
Shane
he
was
wanted
gonna
to
run it.
He wanted to keep it like WCW.
Yeah.
Like, keep it completely separate.
That was
that would
really
be-
intriguing.
Yeah, but because Bischoff was going to buy WCW, he had put together the investors to do it, and then when he went in, they wouldn't give him TV, and then he said, "Fine, I'm not doing it." And then Vince went in to go buy it, and they wouldn't give him TV either. It's actually, if you read up about the purchase of WCW, Vince bought the video library and the trademarks, and then he also acquired some of the contracts,
Yeah.
but not most of them, which everybody knows that.
And a lot of the mid card, he never bought any of the big top cats.
Yeah, he did not. Vince did not acquire any of the physical assets of the company. So the buildings, which I think there's only like one or two down in Atlanta, he didn't acquire the buildings. He didn't acquire any of the rings or any of the sets like that. There's another company that Turner made. It's like Universal Wrestling Organization. It's something, I forget the name of it, but they made that and they maintain all the physical assets. I don't know if they've been destroyed or what the deal is, but I found that interesting because I figured all the WCW sets and shit were in the WWE warehouse, and they're not. Well, I mean, he might have picked up some of them, but to my knowledge, Turner owns all of that shit. So
I think there's definitely value in owning the libraries, even beyond the network. I think it's just a way for them to write history, and I think it's going to be great for them if they ever did buy it. But Ring of Honor, I hope if they bought the video library, they wouldn't put Ring of Honor out of business either. Like, I hope that they would utilize it to kind of enhance them, because Vince McMahon's been known to like give money to some lower end companies just to bring them up and. Because I think if WWE owns... they can't own everything, obviously, but I think the way their influx of talent is going, it's good to have a lot of companies out there that are different.
No, I think it helps everybody if they do it, and it looks like they're cutting those deals with Insane Championship Wrestling and the other things in the UK to pick up video libraries from them. So
Absolutely.
So we'll see how it all turns out. But anyway, that about does it for us today. So this was officially episode 10. And you can find us, once again, we're the Authority on Wrestling podcast. You can find us at facebook.com/Authority on Wrestling, twitter.com/AOW podcast, youtube.com/Authority on Wrestling. You can search us on the podcast app for Apple or Podbean. We will post a link to we usually post the YouTube, the Podbean, and then I'll post the iTunes when that gets posted. So, let us know what you think. Enjoy the hell out of Mania this Sunday.
Enjoy it.
We're definitely going to all be watching it.
I'll be watching on delay.
Tobin's watching on delay.
It's WrestleMania week, which is awesome.
I always get hyped up.
From Monday on, there's something that's going to win.
You have a ROH and TakeOver review coming, right?
Yep,
so
that'll probably be out sometime early next week, a little bit before this.
So that is about it. So enjoy it, guys. Thank you once again for listening, and we'll see you next week. And please let us know what you think of Mania.
Thanks, money.